Hello there, I am the LadyofNemesis. Welcome back to Dragon Age Origins. The last time we traveled to the palace of Danarim for the Landsmeet. Here we were greeted by Sarkarian, who attempted to keep us from entering. We were persuaded to have her step aside and entered the hall. Here we laid out our plan for all to see, swaying the nobles and the Chandra in our favour against Loghain. After he refused to stand down, we settled things with a duel and accepted his surrender. The Warden Warden whom we had saved told us to put Loghain through the joining, which we agreed to. However, this rightfully upset Alistair, who left our party to become king alongside Anora.
I suppose I shouldn't be surprised at your success. You beat me. Perhaps you can do this after all. Do you want something? I suppose I have a moment. He was my friend. If he'd wanted to conquer the Fade, I would have led the charge. I was hunting, well, poaching, to be entirely honest, when a boy my own age came stumbling out of the woods. He was so dirty, you'd have thought he'd been dug up out of the ground. He was bloody, exhausted, and obviously being hunted. I offered to take him to my father's camp. That's a story for another time, I'm afraid. I've gone on too long as it is. He nearly did. Merrick was never one to avoid his duty. And given his preference, he would have acknowledged his son no matter the circumstance. But he had more than his honor to think of. It would have ruined Rowan, after all. She'd be reduced to a concubine in the eyes of our neighbors, and put Kaelin's status as heir in question. So Merrick made the hard choice. Eamon offered to raise the boy, and that was that. Kings don't get the luxury of escaping politics. But we've been idle long enough. We should get moving. There are men who inspire such devotion that everyone around would lay down their lives for him. And there are men who would come and go from this world, and no one notes it. What makes them so? Your guess is as good as mine. Merrick was remarkable. That's all I can say of him. Go ahead. So far as anyone could tell, she was the undisputed monarch of the whole world. She'd fall, skin her knees, and command them to stop stinging. It may have worked, too. Warden sits in between the Brazilian forest and the sea. It's far from the old Tevinter roads. The village by our keep was never even as big as Redcliffe. There were always a few children around. Charcoal burners, sons and daughters mostly, or the children of servants. They formed into noisy gangs in the courtyard for their games. But Anora never joined them. Kaelin. He was a bit younger than she was, but Anora would lead him about the palace like a puppy on a leash, deep in adventures together. I believe the two of them once fought an army of ogres in the wine cellar. That was their explanation for all the broken bottles, anyway. If you're expecting some particular insight into my daughter's character, I'm afraid I'm probably not the best source. I'm hardly impartial. I think you already know the answer to that. But this is not really the time or place to discuss my daughter. We have work to do. Of course. I'm surprised. Thank you. I'm surprised. Thank you. Thank you.
I am yours. Again? I'm game. Not dinner? Flowers? Gifts of lethal poison? You spoil me.
It's you! The Grey Warden! Andraste's mercy that you got here when you did. I thought for sure these monsters were going to get me. They all fled to the castle this morning, before the Darkspawn arrived. I thought I could make it to my home and back before they got here, but it took me too long to get down here. What a relief you arrived. I'm going to get out of here before any more of those things arrive. Thank you again.
On it. This should be easy enough. This should be easy enough. Darkspawn approach. Watch for their blood. This should be easy Let's get started. Right. As you wish.
My lady, you're here. Thank goodness. I don't rightly know. Riordan of the Grey Wardens arrived this morning, just ahead of the Darkspawn. I was told he has urgent news and to send out patrols to watch for your arrival. Then we were attacked. I should take you to the hall right away, my lady. They'll be waiting for you there.
It's a relief to see you unharmed. And you as well, Loghain.
Yes, what a pleasure to see you again.
The Darkspawn that attacked Redcliffe were relatively few in number, I'm afraid. It was assumed the Horde was marching in this direction, but that is not true.
Riordan tells us that the bulk of the Horde is in fact heading towards Denerim. They are perhaps 2 days away from the capital.
How certain are we that this is good information?
I ventured close enough to listen in, as it were. I am quite certain.
Word has been sent, but they need more than warning. They need our armies.
There is, I'm afraid, one other piece of news that is of even greater concern. The Archdemon has shown itself. The dragon is at the head of the Horde.
Make her preserve us.
And we won't be able to reach Denerim within 2 days.
We must begin a forced march to the capital immediately with what we have. Denerim must be defended at all costs.
And only the Grey Wardens can defeat the Archdemon. That is why we must go.
Then we march. And hope the army collected here gives you the chance you need. Arleman, how long before the army can set out?
By daybreak, Your Majesty.
Then give the order. The longer we delay, the longer Denerim will be at the mercy of the Horde.
I will give the orders at once, and will notify you the moment we are ready to march.
Excellent.
Then if you and Loghain could meet me before you retire, we have Grey Warden business to discuss.
I will have someone show you to your rooms. I suggest you all get some rest while you can. We will need it. Marrying Alistair to Anora would not have been my first choice. Still, it does keep the Therin bloodline alive, and Anora is a fine ruler. So I suppose I owe you thanks, Warden. All of Ferelden does. We have sent messengers to Orlais. With any luck, the Empress will send us help within a week. I think it entirely possible, however, that she has written Ferelden off as a lost cause already, and will seek to defend her empire first. Perhaps the Grey Wardens of Orlais will be able to march and reach us in time. We should not rely on their arrival, even so.
And what word have we from Orzammar? Has House Claret sent their men, or haven't they?
They're stalling, which is as good as a no.
House Claret's feud with House Romald has flared up again since their son died in that Deep Roads business. So naturally, they're pleading the need for self-defense.
Huh. Fine time to start with that nonsense again. I've half a mind to... Evening to you, Grey Warden. Didn't realize you were still up and about. Nothing that can be dealt with now, I'm afraid. Just one of the houses being thicker than the stone that made them.
Once all of this Blight business is done, there will be a reckoning in the Assembly.
They're probably half hoping we'll all wind up dead. That way they'll have one of the strongest forces left in Orzammar.
Enough to face the Darkspawn all on their own, I suppose? That's exactly the kind of half-arsed thinking that got us into the mess after Endrin passed.
It was our good fortune that you decided to return home when you did, Grey Warden. For all that you needed our help, I expect we needed yours more. Resting? Who can rest after the march we had getting here? These humans have it easy with their long legs.
That, and we're kept up thinking about the coming battle.
Are things truly that desperate? Do we stand a chance of losing? I hope you're right. Under the open sky is a terrible place to consider dying, that's for sure.
Right. Off to camp with both of you, and keep the drunkenness to a minimum. We have a long way to go yet. Pleasant evening to you, Grey Warden, and good fortune on the field of battle.
Fancy meeting you here. I heard rumours that Redcliffe was once again open for business, but my word, isn't this amazing? Such bustle. The Earl has kindly offered my son and I lodgings in exchange for supplies. I'm happy to help him. And you too, of course. If you have need of my wares, you have but to ask. I'm sure you'll be pleased with the goods my boy and I have collected, and with your discount.
Right.
Anora.
We will need to talk, now that you've survived.
I would give it some time, my dear. That may sort itself out very soon after all.
Don't wait too long, then.
You are the Queen. Do as you were meant to. Nothing could please me more. Let's see what this Riordan has to say.
You're both here. Good. You're new to the Grey Wardens, and you may not have been told how an archdemon is slain. I need to know if that is so.
It is indeed. I, for one, am most intrigued to hear this.
So it is true. Duncan had not yet told you. I had simply assumed. Tell me, have you ever wondered why the Grey Wardens are needed to defeat the Darkspawn? That is exactly what it involves. The Archdemon may be slain, as any other Darkspawn, but should any other than a Grey Warden do the slaying, it will not be enough. The essence of the beast will pass through the taint to the nearest Darkspawn and will be reborn anew in that body. The dragon is thus all but immortal. But if the Archdemon is slain by a Grey Warden, its essence travels into the Grey Warden instead. A Darkspawn is an empty, soulless vessel, but a Grey Warden is not. The essence of the Archdemon is destroyed, and so is the Grey Warden.
The Grey Warden that kills the Archdemon perishes.
Yes. Without the Archdemon, the Blight ends. It is the only way. As far as we know, the transfer of the Archdemon's essence is automatic. If one of us is not present when the killing blow is made, It is all for nothing. There is no other way. For what it's worth, I'm sorry. In Blight's past, when the time came, the eldest of the Grey Wardens would decide which amongst them would take that final blow. If possible, the final blow should be mine to make. I am the eldest, and the taint will not spare me much longer. But if I fail, the deed falls on you. The Blight must be stopped now, or it will destroy all of Ferelden before the rest of the Grey Wardens can assemble. Remember that. But enough. There will be much to do tomorrow, and little enough time to rest before it. I will let you return to your rooms.
Then this will be dealt with soon. One way or the other.
So it will. Let us hope it ends for the better.
Do not be alarmed. It is only I. I decided that it was time we spoke. I have a plan, you see. A way out. The loop in your hole. I know what happens when the Archdemon dies. I know a Grey Warden must be sacrificed, and that sacrifice could be you. I have come to tell you that this does not need to be. I know a great many things. How I know is not quite as important as what I am offering you, however. I offer a way out. A way out for all the Grey Wardens, that there need be no sacrifice. A ritual, performed on the eve of battle, in the dark of night. Perhaps, but that price need not be so unbearable, especially if there is much to be gained. All I ask is that you listen to what I have to offer, nothing more. What I propose is this. Convince Loghain to lay with me, here tonight, and from this ritual a child shall be conceived within me. The child will bear the taint, and when the Archdemon is slain, its essence will seek the child like a beacon. At this early stage, the child can absorb that essence and not perish. The Archdemon is still destroyed, with no Grey Warden dying in the process. In return, I conceive a child, one who will be born with the soul of an old god. After this is done, you allow me to walk away, and you do not follow. Ever. The child will be mine to raise as I wish. This is what my mother intended when she sent me with you. She was the one who first gave me this ritual and told me of what I was meant to do. This does not surprise you, does it? Did you not wonder why Flemeth saved your life? Why she aided you? This is why. What is important is that I am offering this to you now. It will work, and it will save your life. As you wish. Ignoring that after but one night it could barely be called a child, no, it will not be hurt. It will be changed. Allow me to say that what I seek is the essence of the old god that once was, and not the dark forces that corrupted it. Some things are worth preserving in this world. Make of that what you will. I do not wish to tell you. The child will represent freedom. For an ancient power, a chance to be reborn apart from the taint. Is that not reason enough to do it? I will raise the child apart from the rest of society and teach it to respect that from which it came. Beyond that, you need know nothing else. I truly doubt he would, but even if he does, he will not. It is all I ask for in return. Then you have decided? Because he is bound to obey you, he will comply. Consider the alternative. If Riordan fails, do you think Loghain will hesitate? He will die, redeemed as the hero he wished to be, rather than the villain he deserves to be. And you? Will they remember you, do you think? Or will you be just another Grey Warden who accompanied the great Loghain? If you would rather, consider Zevran. What do you think he would advise if he knew the life of his beloved was at risk? I think you know. I think you have many good reasons to tell him to save his own life. I think you should consider them carefully. A wise decision. I shall wait here then while you go and speak with Loghain. I urge you to be convincing.
On it.
I'm surprised you're still awake. I was also surprised to see the Marsh Witch outside your room earlier, glowering quite intensely even for she. Is something amiss? And it involves me in some capacity? You're joking. You are joking, I hope. I see that you're not. I suppose I should not underestimate your capacity to take the bizarre approach when required. Just what is this ritual supposed to accomplish? Ah, that makes sense. I can see why you might think that important. What kind of magic is this? I've never heard of such a rite. Sounds like nothing the Circle has ever spoken of. A child? With me as the father and the Marsh Witch as the mother? I cannot think of anything more ludicrous, nor why you or she would even be interested in such an outcome. More mysterious nonsense, I see. Even so, none of this is necessary. If Riordan fails, simply let me take that final blow. Let me make amends for what I've done, if it comes to that. That is appreciated, but it is far too late for me. Do not ask me to do this thing. You could order me to obey you, yet you do not. If this is truly what you think is wise, then I will do as you ask. Let us find the Marsh Witch and do this thing quickly before I change my mind.
'Twould seem your talk is done.
The witch wishes to get right to the point, it seems.
What is it to be, then? Has a decision been reached?
Not so quickly. I have a question about this child that will supposedly be born of this.
Interesting. Honesty wouldn't have been my first choice.
I will do this, only if I can be sure that this child will not be used to plague Ferelden. Anora does not need a little brother to appear and lay a claim on her throne.
The child will never know of its father, and I will never return to Ferelden. That I swear.
I will accept that.
Let us go somewhere more private, Loghain. This will not take long at all.
We have gathered all the forces we can. The Darkspawn Horde is sure to reach the capital before us. And so we must race to Denerim as quickly as we can. The lives of many thousands hang in the balance. We must not forsake them. You have gathered an army to replace the one lost at Ostagar, Grey Warden. Let us pray that it will be enough.
Before us stands the might of the Darkspawn Horde. Gaze upon them now, but fear them not. The woman you see beside me is a dwarf, raised to the ranks of the Grey Wardens. This is not her home, and yet still she fights with honor and passion. She has survived despite the odds, and without her, none of us would be here. Today, we save Denerim! Today, we avenge the death of my husband, your King Kaelan! But most of all, today, we show the Grey Wardens that we remember and honor their sacrifice! For Ferelden! For the Grey Wardens!
Ha! You never had a chance.
watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment and subscribe. And I will see you next time.